Have you ever woke up at 4 a.m. in panic, absolutely convinced that you missed an important meeting? Heart racing, mind spinning, and already you are composing an apology email in your head. And then you check your phone and you realize it's still Sunday. So no meeting, no emails, it's just your brain living in tomorrow's chaos for no reason. Yeah, that's why we are here today. Hey, welcome back to She Works It Out, the podcast for anyone who ever stared at their calendar and thought, is this a plan or a trap? I'm your host Sonal, a part-time professional, full-time overthinker, and someone who once had a dream of giving this big presentation to total strangers, and my slides were written on toast. Today, we are diving into calendar anxiety, work spirals, and the classic I'm off today, but still I'm replying all the emails. That madness. So let's go. It's story time. So the first story today is meeting that haunted my dreams. So when finally you do the right thing, you shut your laptop at reasonable hour, and you do not look at your team's message anymore, final moment. Yeah. And then you go and wash your face, you set an alarm, you put your phone on do not disturb, and actually crawl into the bed before midnight. Yeah, that was me. A rare, responsible version of myself who thought, yep, I have this big meeting tomorrow. Let's get this 8 hours of solid, gorgeous, healing sleep. And I did fall asleep very quickly for about maybe 20 minutes. And then my brain decided to throw a full-blown premiere screening of its favorite horror flick, The Client Call from Hell, featuring panic, pajama, and poor Wi-Fi. So in my dream, I was late. And not just, those 5 minutes kind of late. I was like real late. Everybody was on Zoom call already. The cameras were on. Faces were tensed, my boss was sharing her screen, client was frowning, and I'm still was trying to find my pants. Yeah, I haven't brushed my hairs, not even my teeth, my laptop wouldn't turn on, my phone battery was at 3%, and my Zoom link was nowhere to found. I was typing somebody, send me or resend me that Zoom link, and I was apologizing, sweating, and clicking random files as if maybe the right slides will come up. Okay. And it was just like people were trying to say, oh, Sonal, are you there? And I was trying to click that unmute button. It was not working. Instead of that, I shared my grocery list with 50 other people on Zoom call. I got so panicked and scared, I woke up. My heart was pounding. Maybe the speed was like 200 plus beats per minute. I was so tensed. My hairs was on all direction. My face was creased from pillow. My throat was dry, and my mouth was, I don't know in which state it was, but I was so tense. And I looked at my phone. The phone said, it's just 4:02 a.m. and the meeting was at 10. 6 hours away. But the fear was at full volume, real as anything. My brain was clearly confused about the dream and the reality. And it whispered, check your calendar just to be safe. The presentation, done, saved twice. I rechecked everything again and again, and then I lay down there again in my bed. My eyes were wide open, my heart was racing, rehearsing everything. Okay, I opened my agenda and I checked it, and I was rehearsing everything in my brain, like I will do this, and then this will happen, and this will happen, everything. I tried to sleep again, but I couldn't, wasn't. And then it was around 6 a.m. I gave up. I got up from bed, I made tea for myself. It was not that, peaceful kind of atmosphere. I was It was survival kind of moment for me, burned, bitter and desperate. It was 10 a.m. I looked fine. I brushed my hair, slides were ready, calm smile activated. But inside, I was already 6 hours of being awake into this meeting. I was dreaming about work instead of resting from it. And here is the thing that hit me hard, real hard. Is my brain, resting? If my brain cannot rest, even when I wasn't trying to sleep or I was sleeping, then something is definitely wrong. That meeting wasn't even high stake, but my threat was, it was like question of existence at that time. So the lesson there I learned was, if you are dreaming about a meeting, you are not just tired, you are in your burnout stage, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. You are holding on to too much, too tightly, too often. Your brain also needs rest. It's not just your body anymore. And oh no, I'm not talking about you sleep. I don't mean sleep. I mean real rest. The kind of rest when you are not alert. When you are not rehearsing conversation or flagging an email at 3 a.m. in night in your head. When you are not anticipating a failure when you're brushing your teeth. You are actually resting. You are actually letting things go. Somewhere along the way, we convinced ourselves that being prepared means never switching off. Always being one step ahead, always ready. And always ready means never relaxed. And when your brain can't even take or trust 8 hours of sleep without sneaking in those panic rehearsals, it's time for you to pause, to reassess, and to ask yourself, am I actually working or am I actually permanently bracing an impact? So here is what I started doing after that. I stopped saying it's just one more meeting when I am already stretched out too thin. I started writing down my to-do list for tomorrow so that my brain wouldn't do that for me and try to memorize it at 4 a.m. And I lit a candle that smells like do not talk to me until I had a coffee, and didn't open my laptop after 9 p.m. in night. I gave myself permission to forget things. Not the big things, but the small ones, like, let's say, the font of that slide. It's okay, it doesn't matter. I don't need to worry about those fonts at 2 a.m. at night. And most importantly, I let myself feel tired without guilt and without saying, but I don't do that enough today, or without feeling like somebody else could have done it better or somebody else can handle more stuff. Because I do enough. I know it. I do enough. And so do you guys. We all do enough. If my subconscious has to create a nightmare just to get my attention, then the message is well received. Speaking of urgency, let's talk about a quick task that turned into a black hole of revision and second guessing. So my next story is about the presentation that wouldn't end. So I had to review a teammate's presentation. Simple enough, just feedback, 20 minutes max, right? Cut to me on slide 47. 3 hours in, rewriting all the bullets almost again. I didn't mean to take over. I really didn't. But one typo led to a format change, led to reworded intro, and before I knew it, I had color-coded almost everything. I even added speaker notes like I was prepping for this TED talk. And finally, I finished it and I sent it to my colleague or my teammate. Proud but exhausted. And you know what my teammate said? Oh, I just needed spell check. I laughed and then I cried a little. So, not everything needs your maximum energy. Giving 100% to every task is how you end up with zero left for yourself. And sometimes good enough is actually perfect because perfection isn't the goal, completion is. So, now let me tell you about the time I tried to take a break and totally failed at it. My final story today is about the PTO that wasn't actually a PTO. So I took a day off. My manager approved it and I was ready. Guess what? I forgot to do. I forgot to tell everybody else. So while I was trying to relax, planning to clean the drawer or watch Netflix or do gardening, my phone kept on buzzing. And it was like, can you jump on this quick call, or we need your support with this particular deck, or can you please review this document? I know you're swamped, but can you look at this and that? At first I replied, I am off today, polite and professional, but it didn't matter. By 2 p.m. I reviewed a couple of documents, joined few meetings, and I gave feedback on few things. And by 4, I was in my legging, a hoodie, and eating cold toast and whispering to myself, is this a real PTO? So the lesson here is rest only works if you actually take it. Don't take half rest. Don't quietly take time off and hope people will figure it out. Set boundaries, communicate them clearly, and then log off like your sanity depends on it, because it kind of does. So, what did today teach us? That sometimes stress clock starts ticking before the actual alarm goes off. And not every task deserves your perfection. Some just need your permission to be done. And that the PTO doesn't stand for, please try to overcome it. Here's the truth. You don't need to prove that you have earned rest. You don't have to keep showing up just because your calendar says so. And no answering emails from the couch while wearing pajama pants doesn't count as break. You are not falling behind, you're just tired. And that's not a weakness, that's your body asking for grace. So today, give yourself a moment to close the laptop, to stretch, to not reply real quick. You have done enough, you are enough. If this episode made you laugh, sigh, or say, yes, that's me, go ahead and tap the follow button like it's a 5 p.m. Friday meeting invite. Decline with confidence. And hey, I want to hear from you. Ever woken up from a work dream in cold sweat? Or reviewed a document so hard it became your life story? Or took a PTO and ended up on Zoom call? Send me your stories. I love to hear those. Until next time, breathe, unbook something, and keep working it out. One guilt-free break at a time.